Welcome to Alien Theorist Theorizing. Case file 282. Beaufort County Ghosts.
We just said Beaufort.
Beaufort County Ghosts. Beaufort County Ghosts. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Andrew.
Boys, I'm back again. Taking it back a little ghosty. We've been a lot of Alien.
Yeah, we have. So are we venturing back to one of the world's most haunted places, or?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think there's like this isn't one. I think this is the world's most haunted
Does
place.
this take the cake?
Yeah.
This is the
it.
most haunted place.
Stamp it, Dan.
I get it. It's too far out. It's over there.
It's true. I mean, anytime you're talking about like this part, when I say this part of America, I have no idea where it is, but I'm imagining that it's part of the part that's, with all the ghosts.
Isn't North Carolina the part of America that's covered in pig shit?
And ghosts.
And ghosts.
And ghosts.
Yeah.
Pig shit and ghosts. That's what North Carolina is known for.
Isn't it North Carolina where they just have like excessive amounts of pig farm? So it's just like fields and fields of like, I've seen this somewhere.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure if it's North Carolina.
South Carolina? Somewhere over there.
It's somewhere over there.
I'll look into it. I'll get back to you on a future episode.
Not a great endorsement of North Carolina. Ghosts and pig shit.
Yeah, come for the pig shit, stay for the ghosts.
So we're not 100% on the pig shit, but to Braden's point, I get what Braden's saying. In the United States, if you think about it for a minute,
it's in the ghost belt, right? That's what we're calling it, the ghost belt.
Yeah, that's trademarked.
Yeah,
copyright and trademark, ATT, like the ghost belt. No, you're not. I wouldn't say that you're wrong because the eastern coast of the United States.
See, I knew it was in the area.
The further south you go, the closer to hell you get. So there's more ghosts.
Yeah. Everyone knows hell's on the equator. Yeah.
Hell's south.
Right?
Yeah.
The eastern coast of the United States has been witness to probably more history. It's more dense, I would say. It's since that's where the original 13 colonies were. Original colonization from Western
Densely
countries.
populated with ghosts.
Big shit.
And just an unimaginable number of brutal murders. And dismemberment.
You have things like the American Revolution and multiple,
it's the site of
smaller
most
conflicts,
slavery.
Most American conflicts have happened in this region.
Yeah. I am always a bit skeptical when you go to like the West Coast or something, you go to California or you go to Oregon or Seattle or something like that, and you're like, oh, like this is the most haunted place. And I was like, no way. Like there's way more crazy shit has happened on the East Coast for a way longer amount of time than
that's
it has
basically
on the West
Canada
Coast.
Light.
Right? Like which has zero ghosts, and everybody knows that because it's far away.
Well, we have friendly ghosts. We just got a bunch of Caspers.
There's never been one scary ghost story out of Canada.
So
the level of ghost hauntings depends on the latitude of your city.
Other than the old spook hole, but that must be connected with underground holes to the States. Is what I'm guessing.
Absolutely,
there's the odd anomaly.
Absolutely, yeah.
So specifically,
sneaking up past the border through the spook hole.
So we're talking about Beaufort, North Carolina, which is known for its rich history, and it goes all the way back to the 1700s.
Them good old boys.
Pre-colonial, colonial times, essentially. The town has been witness to numerous significant events that include things like pirate raids. That was a big along the coast of Carolinas. There's a lot of piracy happened. Like that was kind of a haven for pirates and privateers back then. Yep, Blackbeard. Yeah. Okay. You had things like
wait a minute. That's a real guy.
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard is a real person.
Hey, what's his name? His name's like
it's like Edward Treach.
So is Captain Sparrow.
It's like a super normal person name.
Those are all not Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, every name in Pirates of the Caribbean is directly taken from history.
Right, Davy Jones.
You're full of shit.
Not
how?
one bit.
Why?
Davy Jones did in fact have a locker.
You're telling me that movie should have been called Pirates of the Atlantic Northeast?
It extends all the way up. Yeah, same pirates.
The Atlantic Northeast.
The Atlantic West.
Well, they're not in the Caribbean.
Yeah, you did start this podcast by saying you have no idea about American geography. So let's just say geography as a whole.
Why? Atlantic. That's the Atlantic Ocean, is it not?
That
Yes,
is.
that is
You
the
got that right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what
Well, it's really hard to miss the Atlantic Ocean.
It's pretty big.
It's like 2. I had 2.
I would
had
be seriously worried if you didn't know the Atlantic Ocean was off the east coast of North America.
I know I'm on the Pacific, and then the
Right.
Atlantic's the other one.
Yes.
Specific.
But yeah, no, this specific area, it has dealings with the American Revolution during that time, and also during the Civil War. So I would say that this is the place. This would be one of the places that you would probably find a lot of hauntings going on, since it's just soaked in history, and blood
And pig shit.
and apparently pig shit. There's gonna be a lot of North Carolinians that are mad at us if that's not accurate.
Nah, during that time, I just had to say that I was right. They have the highest concentration of pig farms. North
Well,
Carolina.
I'm pretty sure that's how the fucking Tar Heels got their names, because it's stepping in so much pig shit. It's perfect.
I don't know enough about North Carolina to know that's true.
Dan doesn't want to go out on a limb, put himself out there.
So some of the more, at least one of the more, I guess you could say like the prominent legends of Beaufort is of a location known as Hammock House, or the Hammock House.
Buddy, it sounds
right?
like the best backpacking hostel.
It does. When I read it, I was like,
not.
"Oh, how does that sound haunted? Like that sounds
how
actually very
inviting.
pleasant." Like, Hammock House. I'm pretty sure we have one of those, over in our local mall. And that's where you go buy hammocks. Like,
Also, yeah, the hanging once you go in. Everyone's been in a hammock house once or twice.
I'm pretty sure there's a sale right now, 30% off. For Juneteenth. Like,
I've got a couple hammocks that I bought like 10 years ago from Hammock House sitting in the closet still. I was envisioning my future, my
best
hammock
summer
filled
best
future.
summer sale for hammocks, Hammock House. Right? But this place actually has really nothing to do with hammocks in the sense that we know them, the modern sense. Apparently, I had to go and look this out, but the word hammock is actually first attested to English in the 1550s, and it's a nautical term for a tree-covered island or like a mound of trees that can be seen on the horizon. So usually, like a hammock is used to refer to stands of hardwood trees on the coastal plain from North Carolina all the way down to Mississippi. So it makes a lot of sense. It fits.
I thought this
right?
place, no, but I'm pretty sure this place actually had hammock beds too. I read that in one of the articles.
It may have.
If it didn't, I'd be disappointed.
I mean, it was called the Hammock House. So like
So
it's
it
that's out of the
could
question.
be a great name for
They
like
would've hung a few.
for a gay bar too. Hammock House.
Oh.
Like the banana hammock house is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Yeah,
Copyright,
yeah.
trademark, AT&T.
Yeah, I love it. Let's open.
Greatest gay
let's-
bar name
hey,
ever. Hammock House.
We've had the most fun at gay bars, right? When
They're fun
been out.
places.
So I think if we moved to the Caribbean and started a ATT banana hammocks.
So the
bar and
article,
lounge.
the article I read definitely says the house wasn't named for the comfortable rope net beds. I knew I read that part, but I'm like, oh, yeah,
You read
okay.
it. You just didn't absorb it all.
So now this is apparently reported to be one of the most haunted places.
Hold on, Zell has to grow dreads because he has to do our commercials for banana. Come down, man, to banana hammocks.
I can grow 3 dreads and they're all off the back of my head.
Yeah.
Well, you got the great thing about you, Zell, is you got like if you grow dreads, you have the body to like embody that
got it.
lifestyle. You know what I mean, right?
What's the
Anyone
body?
who
The body of a
sees Zell-
Pastafarian.
yeah.
Good.
You got a Pastafarian build,
right?
buddy.
If you grew some big old blonde
Down by the
dreads,
beach, boy.
yeah, you could fit that role so good.
If I wasn't
Doobie.
Jamaican, why would I be wearing this hat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right. I'll try.
maybe. I mean, you just ran a triathlon or whatever, so maybe a couple months from now, when you've got your little beer belly back,
Oh yeah, I did shed a little bit too much weight.
yeah.
I got to bulk back
All
up.
right, whatever. We're talking in the future. It's
Yeah.
not a now thing. Anyways.
Gotta hit the blood bank.
Yep.
So back to the hammock house, which is not named for the comfortable fabric.
Tis not.
It's not. Some people believe that this building is said to be haunted, and it's said reportedly as legend goes, that the actual feared pirate, Edward Teach, or Blackbeard, as he's commonly known, actually stayed there for a while with an 18-year-old French common law wife who apparently was held there against her will.
Wait, what a fucking power play. Right? He's like 3 more days and we're common law.
Yarr.
She tied up. Yarr. If we be 5 months.
We be
20
common
days.
law in 3 more days.
Yeah.
That story doesn't have a happy ending, though.
Then I get half your bounty.
According to pirate law, in 3 days we are common law married. Yes, I do. I'm happy too. But apparently, one day, Blackbeard is known for his violent temper. He got so angry with her that he hanged her on an oak tree in the backyard.
Yeah,
good luck.
on one of the days that he departed from the hammock house to go,
Well,
ravine.
I mean, I don't want to defend his actions, but if I went to a place called the Hammock House and there was not a single hammock, I might be a little disappointed as well. I don't know if I go to that kind of lengths, but to say I wasn't, I'd be just like,
So it wouldn't drive you to spousal abuse.
no,
You'd be
but
upset.
I would be like,
Yeah, that's true.
I would be noticeably disappointed. I think you'd see it on my face when they're like, I'm like, Hammock House. And
Maybe
they're
this is the event that turned him into Blackbeard.
This is
Maybe
his
he was an
origin story.
accountant or something first, and then this happened. And it drove him.
No hammocks.
there be no hammock in the Hammock House.
Guy like just talk completely normal, and then he gets there and gets a little nervous tick and starts dropping
His beard
hard
starts
yards.
smoking.
All
just
work
like,
and no hammock make Blackbeard.
now,
And then he
and
pushed his
said-
wife down the stairs. Terrible.
Wow.
Terrible. Man.
I don't know. Did he push her down the stairs? I'm not sure.
I thought that's what it was. No,
I thought he hung
I
her
thought he hung her.
He hung her.
said he hung her.
with a hammock.
with a hammock
a
cord.
hammock.
With a hammock cord, of course.
He was probably trying to make his own hammock. Got too frustrated.
Yeah, okay.
It's like putting together IKEA, and she's over your shoulder telling you you're doing it wrong, and he
you
just
gotta
snapped.
go over then under.
And some people say her screams can be heard to this day.
Well, she
when the
wasn't hung
conditions
then,
are
was
just
she?
right. I mean, you could still. Silent screams can be heard to this day. There's also another tale that is told about the Hammock House, and it has to do with one Richard Russell Jr., who apparently, when he was an owner of the house, and when he returned from one sea voyage, he decided to take a slave that he owned up into the Hammock House attic in order to dole out some kind of punishment. And apparently the slave overpowered Russell and then pushed him down the stairs, breaking his neck. And
That's the
Sounds like justice to me. That's,
yeah.
but it's said that his malevolent spirit still lingers around the Hammock House, and that he can be sighted, dark shadows and the whatnot. He can still be seen at the Hammock House. There's also records that the Hammock House was a place where they had quartered civil Union officers during the Civil War, and that there is a common story or legend that there were 3 of them that were set out for the building, and they were dispatched to go and quarter there. They were going to stay there for the night, and then the 3 of them were never seen again until 1915, where you had some workmen actually digging near the back porch of the Hammock House itself, and they found what they identified to be their remains, their skeletal remains there underneath the house.
Upon then releasing a deadly poltergeist onto the land.
Yes, as is tradition. Yeah.
Any disturbed grave.
One of the other areas that is
I mean,
commonly
it's
mentioned-
1915. Unless
People
they
be
were
dying.
buried. It's not like they had CSI going in there doing DNA testing. So when I read that, I was like, how did they know? Like, they must have had ID on them. But like, did they have ID back then?
I mean, there were tags, but like, I don't know if they were in their uniforms, but it's
don't
like
think
it
it's-
could have just been, from
their
artifacts
fucking-
surrounding them or something.
But like, honestly,
Grissom's like great grandfather, right?
It's like, I mean, what a time, like literally at this point in time, if you could to get away with murder, all you have to do is be like, you don't even have to worry about fingerprints, nothing. As long as they have no way of identifying them, in a couple months, they're as good as John Doe's for all time.
Well, yeah, you just literally have to be there to be caught.
Yeah.
Like you holding the weapon over the dead body. And you could even
so
be
it's
like,
like-
"Hey, prove it.
I guess so. So it's like, why would you even care? You'd be like, oh, here's your wallet. Throw it in there with them. You don't even care. Yeah, it's true.
Now, one of the other areas that is considered to be fairly haunted and is a popular attraction there in Beaufort, Beaufort County, is there is a place called, appropriately, the Burying Grounds.
And it used to be, I mean, that's a new age term. It used to be ye old burying grounds. And
Yes.
it's just, we've revolutionized that. And I think,
We gentrified it.
in 2010.
It's more hip. It's cool now.
Yeah, 2015.
House prices doubled.
Yeah.
They actually
Yeah,
I heard they're changing the name just to Hole and Shovel now. Something
Yeah,
like
the Hole
fucking
and
classy.
Shovel. Yeah.
Just Hole and Shovel.
Yeah. It's a real trendy spot.
Arson cocktails and that type of
Yeah.
shit. Fucking
And if the name wasn't a
tapas.
dead giveaway, the Burying
You can head
Grounds
to
is a
one of the
cemetery.
many late night grave dances.
What?
Hey,
I don't know.
Beaufort marketing.
Just pay attention.
We're here. We're here.
Beaufort County Chamber of Tourism, right here, is guys. So it's a cemetery that they usually used to call, they did call the Old Burying Grounds. And apparently the earliest marked grave within that cemetery dates back to 1711. So it's been a pretty much historical place. And if there's any place that's probably going to be haunted, it's usually any grave or cemetery that dates back to the 1700s.
Oh, yeah.
One of the kind of, I guess you could say, attractions to the actual to the burying ground itself is there's a small headstone that has a legend attached to it. And it's pretty much a simple wooden plaque that marks the grave and reads, "Little girl buried in a keg of rum."
And you're going to have a grand old time when you visit this little child's grave.
Are they like trying to pickle her or something? Like I don't understand.
Well, apparently the story comes from the mid 18th century where there was a family named Slow, but spelled Sloo, but pronounced
I wonder
Slow, that actually traveled to England, traveled from England to North Carolina and brought with them their infant daughter. So, the Slow, the patriarch of the family, was a merchant captain who pretty much made his living in the English settlements, like scattered across the Atlantic. They would just go and trade and do, merchant stuff. And then the family was relatively prosperous. They actually just, he was able to build this house, this wonderful house, I guess, that still stands on the Beaufort waterfront. So as Slow's daughter grew from infancy, her mother would always tell her stories about the distant place where she was born, England, right? And whenever her father would leave,
she was probably painting a little bit of an unrealistic picture because from what I hear, it rains all the fucking time.
Probably, heavily tinted with the rosy glasses of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And so when she grew up with these tales, the daughter was always eager to set sail with her father. Every time he would go and take off, to take his, ply the merchant routes, she would always beg to go with him, but he never, he couldn't see himself taking her with him since, back then, sea travel it's not great. Like it's no luxury cruise. It's no carnival, sensation.
You got fucking Blackbeard.
Yeah, you got Blackbeard. You got
Rolling
pirates.
around, trying to hang you with a hammock. You got fucking Kraken. You got all that type of shit.
Yeah, we lost a lot of ships crossing that sea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's face it. There's a lot went down. We don't know where they went.
Well, and more so the ones that made it, you lost a lot of people on the ship.
Yes, infections and poor conditions.
Gangrene.
Yeah. What do you mean we had to bring oranges?
Vitamins.
But the father eventually relented after the constant just the constant barrage of pleas from his daughter, and the mother also agreed and consented to have her to take the daughter across on his voyage to England.
Preposterous. Not only is this is like, because this is essentially this is a fucking insane voyage. It's not like a fucking weekend getaway.
No,
you know what I mean? Like you're going to be gone for a long time. Voyage. Yeah, right. Like it's preposterous. You're meet different people when you come back. You're like, oh yeah, mom and dad agreed. Mom and dad were obviously at odds. That's the only way this makes sense. Where he's gonna just go back to England with his daughter. Okay, yeah, for a little sightseeing venture.
Well, you know what? That's kind of what happened. Like he took her on the voyage. They made it to England, and she was happy as she could be. Seeing all the sights that her mother had told her about, and regaled her with the wonderful tales of England. And she was for all intents and purposes, enjoyed the trip. But unfortunately, on the return voyage, her father's misgivings about bringing his daughter on this voyage seemed to have proved true. Because just a week or so out of port from England, the young girl actually fell ill and then succumbed to her illness and died.
Well, you're rolling the dice every time you're taking one of these voyages. You're rolling the death dice. She had
a 50-50 chance to begin with.
Yeah, and she rolled a 1 on the return voyage.
Yeah, like this.
Now, it was normally custom during those days that if you passed away, while on a voyage, out at sea, you would be buried at sea. They wrap you up in some, spare sailcloth and sure, and chuck you out there. Say some nice words.
Like Davy Jones's locker.
Bye.
Yeah, consign you to Davy Jones' locker forever. But the father said that he remembered his promise to his wife that he made, that was whatever happened, bring their daughter home. So, as captain, he wasn't going to let his daughters.
Well, I think you'd have to. I think it's like, as someone with a child, I don't think there's a way you could be like, you could come and be like, yeah, we threw the body overboard to the.
No, I mean, like imagine making it like the mother's like, okay, but if she dies, make sure you bring her dead body back. And be like, or how about she just doesn't go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's avoid that whole thing. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
he said that when he got back. This was your idea.
Yeah.
So since this, again, like we said, like this is a several month voyage, like coming out there. And since it was like, they were a couple weeks out of, port, and they had a ways to go, they had to find a way to preserve the body. And there was only one thing that they were carrying on the ship that would be able to preserve a body. And that was the barrels of rum that they had, packed in their hold. So Captain Slough said that Captain Slough placed his daughter's body in one of the barrels of rum and then sealed the barrel shut.
And those pirates would be pissed. That's what they're using the rum for.
Oh yeah,
a full barrel. She but a wee lass.
Where did all the rum go?
Yeah, exactly.
Not that barrel. You don't drink that barrel.
Yeah, that's no worm at the bottom of the tequila bottle. Like that's not.
But that gravestone.
Everyone's turning into a Wendigo on that
boat. That gravestone that now sits in the old burying grounds is now the place where many visitors will actually leave, small items like toys and flowers, stuffed animals, beads, things that child would play with. That when they visit the grave of the rum girl.
Listen, leave nothing. If you're bored enough that this is the best thing you're gonna do is go visit this gravesite, leave nothing. Because I can only, like, what if there's a legit malevolent spirit here and it doesn't like the toy? What if that thing follows you home? Right? You're literally just rolling the dice when you go to these places.
You man, you wake up and you smell rum.
Yeah. Oh,
what's that? Oh, it's a little rum girl.
And there are those who say that a figure of a young girl can be seen running and playing between the graves and the old burying grounds at night now, when the conditions are right.
So it's not the only thing. I think this is a good spot to bring this one up. It's like not the only thing like of ghostly apparitions at night and stuff. One of the popular sites is the Land's End Light, which is on the Land's End Road. And like apparently like this road will be lined up with cars on either side at night. Just everybody's just parked on the side of the road waiting to see this light wandering through the woods. Right? And apparently this light is remnants of Private Quigley. And Private Quigley's the source of this ghostly light. And apparently he was traveling the road one time and some bandits or pirates or ne'er-do-wells snuck up behind him, cut off his head, middle of the road. Right? And so what they say is it's his body causing this ghostly light walking around looking for his head. I'm so sick of that trope though. You know what I mean? Like there's no way the ghost, like to say if you get your head cut off that your body remains, you know what's going to remain? Your head screaming in a ditch looking for your body. Or your body, your body can't hear and talk. Like this is absurd, right? So your body's just wandering around and you're doomed for eternity watching your body as you yell at it, as it's just stumbling around.
That's the torture.
So that should be...
Yeah, right? I think that's the whole, like it is the body's yelling out to the head. The head's trying to find the body's trying to find the head, right?
Yeah. The body's always looking for the head, but it should be, you should hear ghastly screams of someone looking for their body, like a head in a ditch. You can see the ghostly head rolling in the ditch, trying to get the body's attention.
Maybe the head's buried.
Yeah, but
that's how you kill him, right? That's how you take out the Hessian horseman. You got to bury his head.
So it's funny because I guess in 1940s there was a little bit different, a variation on that, and they say the light is caused by a bus crash. A couple crashed into a bus load of kids. Ooh. That's the new variations from the 1940s.
Should be a bunch of lights then?
Little lights?
Yeah, a bunch of little lights. And it's since 2000. Now they say it was a busload of kids that had just come from picking up all their first puppies.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, it's making... Of course.
Shut up, is that real? It just gets more and more puppies.
I just heard the updated version was a fucking poor autistic kid on his 5th birthday and nobody showed up to his party.
Yeah.
And he died ghostly.
Died of sadness.
Yeah. And then the more updated version since last week is that kid was having a birthday party and he had also just recovered from cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, terrible. Yeah. That caused the ghostly light. It's nonstop. But I mean, it's a huge tourist attraction. At the Land's End Light.
Well, it's like those. It's like what did we talk about? Brown Mountain lights? Like we talk about those ones, those little funky little lights. I think there's types of that phenomenon in like multiple places across, at least in North America, that you can always find, which are always kind of neat to see because you look over and you're like, what is that? Like, is it the headless? What's his name? That guy, or is it
Quigley.
a truckload or busload of little kids who just
orphans,
got their first puppies
busload
on their
of
way to their families,
orphans on their way back from the children's hospital, on their way to get adopted.
Yeah, they just got the remission news and crashed in a fire.
And they were getting adopted that day. Yeah, Jesus,
terrible. And the light's the only thing that's lasting. But, who knows what the real tale is? I don't know what the light is. It's changing through history. So one might say more depressing, but who knows, right? I don't know. I'm not an expert on the things. Before we move on, should we take a quick beer break?
Let's do it.
We'll be right back. We're back.
Now, Beaufort, North Carolina actually also has a castle, because what haunted place would be complete without a haunted castle, I suppose. Yeah. And so all the conditions are right for another haunting. This one known as the Joseph Johnson House, or, it's colloquially known as the Castle, where apparently...
Original name.
where they actually had federal or Union troops occupied Beaufort in 1861. The home at that time was actually unfinished, as the Civil War had broken out, and it was used though as a military hospital. And they say that the outbuilding of the house itself was actually served as a morgue. While the grounds surrounding the house may have actually served as a graveyard. So, I mean,
well, the interesting thing with the morgue that I read was that at one point, soldiers sealed this up with brick and mortar, only to return in the morning to find that the bricks had all been stacked beside and the doors open. Now, I was like, that's interesting, because I'm like, that's Jesus. A fucking sick prank, because if the mortar, doesn't mortar set pretty quick? So, have you ever done brick and mortar work?
I mean, it would definitely set overnight.
Yeah. So you'd have to be pretty on it if you're like, I'm going to prank these motherfuckers and take down all these bricks and stack them.
As soon as they turn their back, the ghosts are just stacking.
As soon as they're like, yeah, let's wrap this up. You bring it. All right, boys, get to work. Start pulling it apart.
Or maybe they just, listen, hear me out. Maybe they just never did it. Right? They just decide. Then they get called out the next day and they're like, listen.
Oh, no, we did it. We did. Yeah.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something me and you would have done.
Oh, 100%.
In the fucking panic room. We fucking did it. We did it.
We swear. We
put that wall up. I swear.
We swear.
Yeah.
I swear. Look, I wouldn't lie about this. Look at me. Yeah. We stacked it high. And on the mortar.
Yeah. 100%.
I didn't do nothing.
Never.
We're both crying.
We swear. We swear. Dill pickle spits everywhere. Just
The whole ground littered with fucking spit. Look at all the spits. We were working.
But the legend doesn't stop there. So apparently the gardeners who worked there actually reported many strange happenings on the house grounds, or the castle grounds, I suppose. Dr. Johnson, who or Dr. Joseph Johnson, which the house is named after, was said to have actually seen what he believed was the apparition of a small dwarf walking outside of the home. Now, legend has it that this ghost originates from all the way in the 1500s. Like, this ghost perhaps there. There's legend of the French explorer Jean Ribaut and his band of explorers apparently came to the area in 1562, and it's said that he brought with him his own personal jester, who was a dwarf named Gouch.
And up until a couple of years ago, this story used a much different phrase.
Now, as the legend goes, Gouch did meet his end in Beaufort, North Carolina, but the means of his death remains a mystery to this day, and a lot of people have speculated about the accounts of his actual demise. Whatever the case,
one dead in a bar fight. I was like.
Yeah, apparently he was an angry little bastard.
Yeah, apparently he
I get that.
What was it? He had no opinion on anyone. He was a rough little fella, and he had no opinion on anyone.
Yeah, a lot of the stories paint him as a pretty tough customer. Like,
when people ask me, "Hey, what's Andrew really like?" I'll be like, "He's a rough little fella. He has no opinion on anyone."
So people have said that they've spotted his spirit walking along the grounds of the home, and some have even said that they've seen him like inside the actual house when they've actually been on tours of the historic home.
Well, I've heard they've heard him throughout the fucking hallways going, "Juta here, juta there, look down for a scare."
Apparently, Lily Danner, who is the daughter of Dr. Joseph Johnson, had reported that she reported that she had actually seen the ghost and interacted with the ghost of Gouch many times when she was a child. And she kind of described it as it's kind of a quote, the wrinkled old elf of a ghost is what she would describe it as. And she would say that she would actually she would hold, imaginary tea parties for her dolls in the basement. And then, one of them would be dressed in, the color of her jester's garb, the whole deal of stockings, pointed shoes, and the hat with bells. And it would speak to her. Like it would, that she would talk to it.
Oh.
And that was Gooch the dwarf?
Gouch, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So she'd ask questions and it would jingle the bells on the hat or something to respond.
Well, apparently Gouch would tap out coded messages in 16th century French.
And she deciphered this message?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's, according to her. And then she said that, even in the 16th century French, he was quite vulgar. Quote, always swears and uses words the same way. He has no opinion of anyone. He called one of the family members a hellion one night.
Oh, wow. Simmer down.
I'll
That
tell
is a
you,
rough
Yeah, he
customer.
went there.
if my boy ever says that word,
Get the
calls
bell.
me a hellion. Good Lord.
People who have been guests of the house have reported, that Gouch is also manifests himself as a type of, perhaps a type of poltergeist, and that, there will be
moving all the little teacups around and
I mean, yeah, that's what they report. Moving
pulling the cushions
furniture
off the couch,
opening,
moving
closing
furniture around.
doors, and apparently you can still hear the bells
Yeah.
that he used to wear on his jester's costume.
creepy.
And one of the more disturbing things is that apparently, according to legend, Gouch will leave red handprints on the windows of the home.
Just the bottom half.
Just the
though.
bottom portion.
Yeah, bottom half. The little ones on all on the window ledge peeking up. I mean, it's the little bells is terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's the fact that he's going and there's transcripts. There's transcripts of the girl of what she of her brief interactions with Gouch. But yeah, the thing that makes sense to me is he for him to be this mad, he was by all accounts super mad. But then if you beat to death by someone in a really violent death, then he would that story. I was kind of okay, well, I can see that. Then he's upset with that.
well, you'd be
he's
pissed
stuck
for an
around.
eternity, and you just be
Yeah.
like, man, too angry to die.
Everyone knows the shorter you are, the more short man syndrome affects you at a higher level. So this guy is, you know what I mean? It's bad. Extra
I can attest
angry.
to that.
Yeah, extra angry.
One of the other historic buildings in Beaufort County that is supposed to be haunted is the Beaufort County Courthouse, or the old Beaufort County Courthouse, which was constructed in 1786 and is apparently the second oldest standing courthouse in North Carolina. And it actually served as a place, served as their court building until the early 1970s, right after they built the
That's
new
a
courthouse,
fucking
which is just
long
around
time.
the corner.
That's a long time to be
Yeah.
using that as the courthouse.
Now, apparently today, the building actually serves as the headquarters for the Beaufort Hyde Martin Regional Library System, an actual which is located mostly on the ground floor of the building.
Books are flying off that shelf.
Yeah, if you I just imagine the Ghostbusters, the Ghostbusters scene, and you're just if there's a place that's gonna be haunted, you're just gonna be like, fuck. You just walk in there. It's man, I was just looking for a book on the plants of North America, and this shit's going on right now.
Librarians are
God
paid
damn
$100K a year to work there. Constantly
Are they?
fucking
I'll take that
putting
job.
books back up.
Great job.
It's probably a good idea, though. It's probably scares all those little fucking kids that are going in the National Geographics trying to look at boobs and stuff.
Yeah.
It starts with them.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Keep them out of there. Yeah. Apparently, one Terry Rollins, who is a librarian / kind of tour guide, amateur historian for the last 13 years, apparently
Also spirit talker. Let's not forget that.
talker.
Yes, also
Self-proclaimed
spirit
spirit talker.
he's been leading historic ghost walks on Saturdays from May through October, and he tries to keep the history of Beaufort alive. They manage, they have people take pictures and, keep people interested in these areas for, preservation, and which I think is an admirable thing, at least for these things, to keep people coming and seeing these things. But he says that there have been many occasions where people have taken photos
and left
during these ghost
terrible
walks.
reviews.
Well, I don't know about his tours, but they have actually taken photos, and within those photos, they've said that they've caught things like the orbs, ghostly orbs of light.
Goddamn, call Tim Skull Lion,
Skull Lion, or Zach Bagans. We can call Zach Bagans maybe. And though they say that they have caught things like flashes of stuff like coming out of the ground, and actually fully like photos of like fully formed faces in the windows, and other things that just can't be explained. And then he'll say that many times, like when they've stopped or they've reached a location, getting ready to tell a story, that a street light will, like where they're standing, that specific one will just go on and off, like just that one.
Everyone knows if you're walking and a street light goes out, ghosts, run.
Yeah, gotta go.
To this day, if I'm walking and a street light goes out while I'm walking under it, full sprint.
Gotta go.
You know how many times left Jamie in the dust walking around our neighborhood? Fucking every other night.
That's what type of neighborhood you live in. They're all dying all the time.
Just one. There's one that goes by and a second goes out. 100-meter yard sprint home.
See ya.
Me and the dog.
Never move so fast.
Yeah.
One of the dark figures that is said to still reside in the Beaufort County courthouse is perhaps the spirit of one Reverend Carawan. Now, in 1853, Reverend George Carawan was a very, of the type of preacher who was very much fire and brimstone. In there, you will be consigned to the depths of hell if you do not repent for your sins and debauchery. That kind of stuff. Yeah. And apparently, he was charged with the murder of school teacher Clement Lassiter.
It was the devil trying to get him.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the devil was trying to get in his fucking wife's bedchambers.
Yeah. Which is
taking liberties.
Something to that effect. Reverend Carawan is
the greatest sin of all, adultery.
He had accused the teacher of taking indecent liberties with his wife. And that is a charge that the teacher and Carawan's wife apparently had both vehemently denied, that they both said nothing was going on.
I also read an article that was like, the teacher was like, didn't even really know his wife. And he so these claims were a little bit more than baseless. Just like ludicrous almost.
I mean, less than baseless, I suppose.
Less than baseless? Yeah.
Less than baseless.
But yeah, so he was like just throwing these accusations out, like just so mad.
Yeah, really angry.
To the point of murder.
Right, to the point of murder. And, this story apparently, was published in newspapers all the way up and down the East Coast. And, the day that Carawan was to be put on trial, the courthouse was packed. I mean,
and funny you say the courthouse is packed is because you guys know remember the show People's Court? Remember the show? You guys remember People's Court?
Yeah. I mean,
well, People's Court is actually based off the original concept, which was
Ye Old People's Court.
Ye Old People's Court, which actually broadcasted this episode.
The first.
Zell, can you keep that up? I think we
recovered some unrecoverable.
You are witnessing is real.
Audio recordings.
The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in a California municipal court. Both parties have agreed to dismiss their court cases and have their dispute settled here in our forum, the People's Court.
I'm Fred Albert Samuels, and we're here at the Beaufort People's Court for the case of Take My Liberties, but Not With My Wife. Let's head into the court.
Order in the court. Defense, you're up.
Now, Your Honor, members of the jury, my name is Sir Douglas Shackelford I, and today I will be regaling you on as to why my client sitting right there, the good preacher, is an innocent man.
Your Honor, I object.
On what grounds?
On the grounds that I am firing my attorney for malpractice.
Now, Your Honor, now, I will tell you what now. I've been working harder than a cat trying to bury a turd on a marble floor for my client. I see absolutely zero reason why I should be relieved of my duties as this man's defendant.
Now, sir, you better have some mighty good grounds on why to fire your attorney at this stage of the case.
Your Honor, how about the grounds that my attorney's been taking liberties with my wife?
Oh!
Welcome back. Surprising turn of events. The defendant is now charged with 2 counts of homicide. Let's take it back to the court.
Oh, order in the court. Sir, you just murdered another person. You are now charged with a 2nd count of murder.
From this point forward, I will be self-representing myself in this. Now, is that stenographer? Is he just going to type all of what I'm saying?
He will type everything you say. He will be typed.
Now, the only reason he's not even looking at me, sir, and if the only reason someone would not raise their hand when a gun is pointed at them is because they themselves must be taking liberties with my wife.
Welcome back. In an unprecedented turn of events, this has now become a case of a triple homicide. Let's go back to the court.
Reverend, it's obvious that you are guilty of murder since the jury here has seen you witness 2 murders. I am therefore you have forced my hand into a guilty verdict of 3 counts of murder.
Your Honor, I object. And now the only way that anyone here could participate in this farce of a trial is if everyone here in this room is taking liberties with my wife.
Never in my days at the Beaufort County People Court have I seen such an absolute...
Now listen, sir, the only way that you would be programming this for any kind of entertainment is if you, in fact, were taking liberties with my wife.
And that was an actual recording of the events of the day.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what you can recover with today's technology and AI. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that is the complete truth. That because during the verdict, during the giving of the verdict, or reading of the verdict, Carowin actually rose from his seat with 2 loaded pistols, and then he shot wildly about the room, causing absolute chaos, and then turned the gun on himself.
In a wild turn of events, in the final twist, his wife stood up and said, "The only one taking liberties with me is you."
So to this day in the Beaufort County courthouse, like people say, visitors say that they can still feel an ominous presence of someone who is filled with rage within there. So it's like, or the people will hear wild and unexplained sounds. And some people have even said that they've heard phantom gunshots and shattering glass. And even the librarians, like it's not far off. Like you probably have to pay a little bit extra to get people work there, because some of the librarians have actually reported that they have like rushed upstairs after they've heard the sound of what sounded like furniture being overturned, and then only to discover that the courthouse was still just empty and everything in it was just unmoved. So is Beaufort County one of the most haunted places on the East Coast? Some people might say yes. Yeah,
we're saying it right now. Most haunted place in all of Craig's Triangle.
Though it definitely seems to have a booming tourism business, and at least for just the sheer number of, while I was researching for this case, there is quite a number of ghost walk tours or ghost tours, haunted tours.
With some of the best reviews you've ever seen in your life. Let me read one of them for you. And this one is my favorite because it gets a response from the ghost tour. And this review is of Both. Why do I say? Is it Beaufort? Beaufort.
Beaufort.
It's Beaufort.
Beaufort Ghost Walk. That's what this is called. When you sign up and you pay, you're like, hey, you want to do the Beaufort Ghost Walk? I love ghosts. Let's go. This is the review. Watching grass grow would have been more exciting. I absolutely hated this tour. The guy that led the tour was very boring and there was no excitement at all. My two friends and I expected to go into haunted houses, graveyards, etc., but all we got was a boring guy in a cheap pirate costume. If you're looking for excitement, go to a frickin' aquarium or putt-putt. I do not recommend this horrendous experience to anyone. God bless you all, and do not go on this lame tour. Waste of your time. And by the way, he does a bad pirate accent. Plus, he was late. Just don't go. It's one of the many one-star reviews. And this one's my favorite because this review got a response from the Ghost Walk, and the Ghost Walk responded, hey, thank you for your feedback. We are sorry that the Beaufort Ghost Walk was not what you expected. However, your review is unfair because we do not advertise that one will go into haunted houses, graveyards, or anything like that. This is a historical walking tour.
They don't
It's also a
contend that
ghost tour.
They don't contend the cheap pirate costume bit though.
No. Guy's just drunk, shows up. He's like, hey, I'm here. You guys here for the Beaufort? Here for the Beaufort walking tour. You be in the right spot. Like, you're 45 minutes late and you're drunk. Yeah.
That's the way the pirates.
That's authentic pirates.
That's the way the pirates.
You can't get any more authentic
I'm on
pirates than
pirate time.
Dude, I would be like, this is going to be the best tour ever.
No, I've been waiting at 45. I mean, we probably would have been drinking at that, but it's 45 minutes late. You'd be like, that's fine.
But if we went on a Ghost Walk tour and the tour guide for inexplicably was dressed as a pirate and talked like a pirate, how long till we would be like, yay, I just had a few questions of my own.
I would like to go.
There's other reviews where they're like, the guy just making up history.
Well, I think it'd be funny if you're going on the tour and the guy's dressed like a pirate. He's doing a bad pirate accent, and the tour has nothing to do with pirates. Like it's just like it's an actual historical tour, and he's talking about this building is the classic architecture from the 17th. Like just talking about the construction.
Sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
One review was saying that we learned more about the show Outlander than we did about fucking hilarious.
Here's just a drunk pirate in North Carolina leading ghost tours, and he just talks about whatever he wants. You guys see?
I'm surprised the fucking people didn't respond being like, we don't have an employee that dresses like a pirate. Like just some random drunk dude commandeering the tours.
It's just like really like history.
And pirates, obviously.
That's fucking great. If you've been to the Beaufort Ghost Walk or you've been live in the area, let us know if there's, if it's as haunted as they say.
Should it be
the
spot of our next pod trip?
Yeah, maybe it could be if we ever do an East Coast run.
We do like fake. We like bad pirate accents. We do that.
Yeah, it's true.
We do them, so we like them.
Mm-hmm. Anytime we do it, if we ever do a ghost tour all together, we should dress inexplicably like pirates for the ghost tour from now on. Yeah, we be here for a fright. It's August. I love it. Anything else on?
We didn't discuss the theater of the week, actually.
No, we didn't.
Nothing really popped out this week. So
you guys got to step it up.
Bringing the heat.
Yeah,
Nobody's bringing the heat.
Step it up.
Yeah. Let's go.
Come on. Diablo 4 theater of the week. Congratulations.
Congratulations on being
Blizzard.
released with only so far only minimal server outages so far.
Yeah, and making it just a stand-up fun game. So.
Theater of the week. Also, rest in peace, Iron Cheek.
Iron Cheek. God.
Thank you for everything.
Someone posted, the funniest post I saw was like, fuck Hogan. Or fuck Hogan then, now, forever. Iron Cheek hated Hulk Hogan.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
And if you're not already on our Patreon, get up, support the show. Patreon.com/alientheorist. If we get enough support, we can go to these ghost tours dressed as pirates.
Yeah. We can
That's-
afford better, not cheap pirate costumes.
Well, we're going to cheap out on the
authentic.
pirate costume, but
I will probably cheap out on them. Yeah, that's true.
So send us the booty.
yeah,
We want the booty.
Yeah, we want your booty. Send it to us at patreon.com/alien theorist podcast. The next podcast where all talk is pirates inexplicably.
Yeah, if you donate enough, we'll do an entire podcast as pirates.
Yar! This be alien theorist
hey,
theorizing
that's not a
better
bad
about 283
Yeah, that's good.
Bigfoot.
That might actually
Better.
happen. That might
Better.
actually.
You better fucking donate, or we're gonna do the next foreseeable future of podcasts as pirates.
Yeah, so
That might be
both
better.
ways.
Stop. You gotta
Both
be fair.
ways.
I like this.
We'll
Blackmail the show.
do it.
Either.
Do one episode as pirates, or we'll do all our
All of them.
episodes
Yeah.
as pirates.
The choice is up to you. Zell, who's our new Patreon supporters?
This week's new supporters, we got Serg the Splurg, or Serge the Splurge,
Oh, okay.
Kane
like that.
Latifi,
Splurging on Patreon.
Yeah.
It's good.
Ryan Lopez, Cody Thebo, Mitchell Housley. This guy keeps dropping his pledge and repledging, but I don't care. Zell is by far the best one.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Paul Zeitman, Bear Country, and Matthew. Thank you very much for supporting the show.
And as we always say at the end of these things, keep that eye on the sky.